hello everybody, this is Madhog, thy master of Skyrim. Yes, let's go with that. And I am joined by Matti Mali, aka the actor who is hedonistic.
Hi. Yeah. Skyrim. I may be the only person in the world who calls it Elder Scrolls 5.
It is Elder Scrolls 5 column Skyrim. That would be the complete name, but you know, as far as new players are concerned, it's Skyrim 1 and the next one is going to be Skyrim 2. And I'm pretty sure there is a classic Elder Scrolls fan out there whose bane on the side of their head is about to pop out and release all the plasma.
Yeah, it's funny thing is that when I was starting my video game reviews, I told a friend of mine about it, that my first review will be about the first Elder Scrolls game, Arena, and he asked, that's the same series where Skyrim belongs, right?
Yeah, maybe, I don't know. Okay, so I'm going to put my hands forward to reveal my hand, as it were. I love this game. That's pretty much going to be the main point of this essay, if you will. I love Skyrim. I'm aware of its flaws, not just the more obvious ones, you know, bugs, glitches. What Elder Scrolls game doesn't have those? I'm also aware of its more insidious, subtle issues, its design flaws, which can be very easily exploited to maximize your gaming experience. So the point of all this, of this new video series that me and my fellow European co-gamer friend, yes, Matti, the point of all this that we are doing is to illustrate how I play this game that I enjoy to this very day, this game that I love, not in spite of its problems, but because I have learned how to work with these problems, again, to make my experience all the more special, enjoyable, and I cannot believe I can get away with this.
As a whole, I prefer Elder Scrolls 4, but Elder Scrolls 5 has better written dialogue, in my opinion.
I mean, the bar is not all that high. I think Morrowind had the best text, but it was a lot to read. Ever since they started having voiced lines, they dumbed down the dialogue writing in general, at least in my estimation.
Yeah, Oblivion's writing was rather...
Oblivious?
How do I put it? Really vanilla.
Okay, that's one way of putting it, a very generous way of putting it. Skyrim is not that much better in that, again, very few voice actors reprising very same lines for different characters, which would be repeated ad nauseum.
Yeah, well, at least in Skyrim there's like 40 voice actors instead of Oblivion's 16.
That is pretty scandalous. And most of those dialogue lines are, well, I used to be X, but then I got an arrow to the knee.
And out of those 16, 3 are the celebrity voice actors who have only one role each.
Yes, I do remember very distinctly Patrick Stewart in the role of guy who exposes and then dies.
Yeah.
AKA the Emperor of Tamriel.
Yeah. Sean Bean had a really pretty good role as his bastard son.
Right. We're not talking about Oblivion here, we're talking about Skyrim. This is going to be a very special playthrough of Skyrim if all of this blurb didn't clue you in exactly what I want to do, or more specifically what I wanted for this playthrough to be. Because due to technical difficulties, we are going to provide commentary over pre-recorded footage, my own pre-recorded footage from the PlayStation 4. Mostly because the means to do a proper, more organic Let's Play that we have at our disposal are rather limited, wouldn't you say, Matti?
Yeah, it seems that both of our machines are just Wii pumps.
So Matti had a copy of Skyrim for his computer, so I went to him and said, "Hey Matti, I have this itch that I need to scratch. I want you to experience Skyrim the way I do, the very special way I do." But then he did a few test recordings, and as it turned out, the frame rate was less than ideal.
It was about the standards of a average film, the 24.
24 frames per second. Yes, it doesn't really play well with video games with 3D engines, does it now?
Well, sometimes I like its more cinematic feeling.
I'm going to slap you across the internet, Matti.
Yeah, I guess because I've never had that kind of an super powerful machinery, I've just gotten used to it, that games that just look that good to me.
Yes, I don't have a powerful machine either. That's why I grabbed that footage from the PlayStation 4 using the PS4 share, which, you know, it is also less than ideal when it comes to overall quality of your video game footage. But at least it's not a choppy 24 frames per second. We're not watching the Dragon Prince, Matti.
Do you consider movies choppy?
Matti, you cannot be... Matti, I'm going to somehow, I'm going to insert myself into the internet, navigate all the way to Finland and wherever you are. I'm going to jump at you from the screen of your computer, and I'm going to yell "Fuzroda" in your face. But anyway, back to the point. We are going to be playing Skyrim. No, what am I saying? I've already played Skyrim. We're going to comment and react to my gameplay footage of Skyrim, where I created a new character and I attempt to run a very unusual character build. So, are you ready, kids?
I guess so.
I can't hear you!
I guess so.
Oh, let's play Skyrim. So, as you can see, I'm already in the first building. I skipped the whole character creation part and the part in which the dragon attacks the building, and we are running for our lives. I am playing as a Khajiit by the name of Alicia Meowtown, not to be confused with my other Furiosi, Alicia Meowtown. She's in another game file, being a wizard and all that. Right.
So for those who don't may know, our lovely feline was wrongly accused of being part of the Stormcloak Rebellion, who are the just
fascist.
In case you don't know this game.
Yes, so the fascist Stormcloak Rebellion, rebelling against the oppressing imperialist empire, very redundant, I know. Those will be the two warring factions in Skyrim, and as you can see, I've allied myself momentarily with the people who tried to kill me, the Empire. There is this Imperial guy on my side, and we are killing a bunch of Stormcloaks on our way out of this predicament, if you will.
Yeah.
So,
well, to be fair,
yes.
Yeah, it was only one unreasonable officer, so I can guess why the character would follow...
No, I am metagaming here. I am not following the Stormcloaks because I really don't like the Stormcloaks as a, you know, in a political sense. Because they are big old fascist. I'm going to expand on that. The Empire isn't really that much better. Again, they are called the Empire. But if I have to choose between them, the status quo of the Empire of Tamriel with all of its issues and problems, and it's really not good at all. If I have to choose between them and the rebelling faction of the Stormcloaks led by the Nord with their racist, xenophobic, hero worship agenda, I mean, I guess I'll vote for the Empire. I mean, yes, that could be seen as sort of an allegory for today's politics in many ways. The choice is between the neoliberal, complacent status quo and actual fascists. Great.
Yeah, during my playthrough, I really didn't see much of the xenocide part of the Stormcloak part, or the xenophobic part, but I guess I just didn't go too deep into the Civil War stuff.
Yes, you followed only the main quest. Oh, let me train my lock-picking for a bit. Yes, let's do that. While I lock-pick a few locks for experience points, let me expand a bit on why the Stormcloaks are fascist, and on a larger scale, why the Nords are no good. Really. The Nords, they call Skyrim their ancestral home, but as you play the game, you will learn that they were not originally from Skyrim. They were settlers who colonized Skyrim and pretty much genocided a bunch of the natives. And that includes the Daedra worshipping Forsworn, which are very indigenous coded, come to think of it, and also the Snow Elves, which, in order to escape the wrath of the Nords, the invading Nords, they had to ally themselves with the Dwemer, which then resulted in this entire population of elves falling into slavery on the hands of the Dwemer. That's a lot of lore I am dumping on you. I know. You probably don't even care. The point is, the Nords are racist. And you will see them being casually racist towards the Dark Elves, and they don't care about all the other races in Skyrim. And their motto, their official motto is, Skyrim belongs to the Nord. Which really tells you everything you need to know. So if they were to win the war, they would essentially kick out all the other races, or worse. And then you would have, I don't know, the very douchey Eye Elves of the Dominion coming back maybe to take over Skyrim the hard way, because they really don't like Talos, which is the god that they worship. And wow! That's a lot of lore! I just scared away a lot of people with that. I didn't even mean to dump all this exposition on you. I don't even care about the lore of this game. I went out of my way to ignore the lore as much as possible to focus on the gameplay, because I could not care less about the Stormcloaks or the Empire or this or that. I did not read a single book that came across in this game. I just played. And yet, by sheer osmosis, I've absorbed some vital bits of lore, because I put so many hours into this. You don't understand, man.
Oh, I'm always interested about lore. If I don't have lore, then I don't have a reason to keep going.
No. You're confusing lore with having an actual story and narrative. Lore is not as important as a story. Lore is something that should be organically introduced as you play the game and as you, well, follow the plot. Lore for the sake of lore is not a substitute for a good narrative. If you don't care about a story and only care about lore, then you might as well play Dark Souls. Burn! Take that, Souls-like fans.
I've never played those games.
Yes, you will not enjoy them. I will tell you this for free. Probably.
Yeah.
So anyway, as you can see, I'm wearing light armor, and my skill for light armor just went up. I hate it because I want to have heavy armor instead for this build to work. Because you might have noticed also by this very hectic, action-packed scene of battle that I'm fighting all these goons with my bare hands, or claws, if you will. Khajiit...
So you're trying to become a monk or something?
Essentially. So Khajiit, the Khajiit race, or class, if you will, they are cat people, essentially. And that's another thing I like about the Elder Scrolls in general, in that you can play as your furry or scaly OC, you can play as a anthropomorphic lizard or feline. Why would you want to be anything else? Why would you want to be 3 whole variants of elves or 4 variants of human? Seriously, too many human classes here.
Yeah.
But yes,
yeah,
so...
unfortunately the dwarves mysteriously disappeared.
Yes, I mentioned the Dwemer earlier on. Those will be the dwarves, and they have been extinct for thousands of years, and they were big old slavers. They enslaved the snow elves, as I mentioned before, because they were trying to survive from the onslaught of the genocidal Nords, colonialist scum, on top of everything else. But then they became slaves to the Dwemer, and they spent hundreds of years underground, and they evolved or devolved into the blind demonic Falmer, which are blind, but also very dangerous. Right. So again, too much lore all at once. You don't even know what I'm trying to do here. First of all, I am training... As you can see, I am training. Yes, I said training. I'm training my sneak
that
skill.
Guy at the bait.
No, I'm training my skill. I'm training my ability to sneak.
Yeah, during my playthrough, I never understood how sneaky worked in this
Okay,
game.
so you told me that, and frankly, I was baffled because it's actually very simple once you get into the proper mindset. Essentially, as long as you are in the same room or in the general vicinity of enemies that did not notice you, you are gaining experience points for your sneaking skill. Even better if they almost notice you, but they don't in the end, your sneak trains faster. Even better than that, if you manage to hit an opponent with your weapon while being sneaky, you can train both your weapon ability and your sneak at once. Essentially, you have to keep an eye on the reticle in front of you when you crouch and thus enter sneaking mode. It's not that different from playing Thief in that sense. You can play the entirety of Skyrim as a thief. As Thief, the game, that is. In fact, for a game that tells you that you can do whatever you want, trademark, they would really love you to be a sneaky archer. And yes, archery and sneak are the 2 best abilities when combined together. They are such a game-breaking choice to build together. Anyway, sneak increased to 26, as you can see. You see? There is a bear, the famous tutorial bear of Skyrim, sleeping over there. I am sneaking around, as kittens are wont to do, and I've improved my sneak already. So now the game is basically telling me, okay, you're sneaky, now use a bow to kill the bear. And this is the game not so subtly telling you, we really want you to be a sneaky archer in this game, because nothing else will be as effective against literally everything in this game.
I guess it's one of those player defined difficulty levels. If you it recommends you the easy option, but you can also choose as a player to do it a little harder way and get greater satisfaction by training your other skills.
Yes, but the great thing about your archery and sneak skills is that you can basically choose much harder opponents, much more leveled up opponents in this game with that combination. Here's an example, the tutorial bear. One shot, he did not notice me, so I had a critical because of that. 2 free shots, the bear is dead.
I didn't kill the bear because it wasn't a direct threat.
Yes, well I did because I'm here to level up as fast as possible. And that's pretty much the philosophy of this playthrough. I know how to grind my stats and skills fast, and I am going to do just that.
You're not going to go all murder hobo, are you?
Oh, I don't need to do that, actually, and there is no point in that because my melee weapon is going to be my bear claw, as you can see. And there is no stat for unarmed combat in this game, but you could theoretically build your character to be a melee unarmed combat specialist. There is just not a straightforward way to do that. You could train to do that in previous games, such as Oblivion, but since all enemies in that game scale to your level, you will be stuck punching things forever.
Yeah, when that happened in my Oblivion playthrough, I changed my playstyle. I started to treat it as a stealth game.
Yes. I think that's extremely unsatisfying for me when you've come to a point in which either you have trained all of your acrobatic skills by jumping around like a loony, or you train your stealth skills in order to avoid fighting enemies. That's not a fun RPG for me anyway. So I recovered my very first piece of heavy armor, which is that iron helmet over there, and I removed my light armor because I want to train my heavy armor, damn it. You know why I want to train my heavy armor?
So you could have more protection?
Well, that too, but more importantly, there is a perk within the evolutionary tree of the heavy armor skill that allows you to punch harder. If you equip yourself with gauntlets, the armor rating of those gauntlets would be added to the damage that my claws do. And by the way, Khajiit do a natural 12 damage with their bare claws. It's a class-specific advantage. So if you want to build the best unarmed combat, you have to do this. And you might be wondering why I have attacked Odvar, right?
Because it maximizes your...
Yes.
Oh.
Because I am training already. So you can attack the first NPC of the game once the quest is over to train your base stats. So say if you are going for a shield, as in block or one-armed build with light armor, you can get yourself hit by him and train your armor. You can block with your shield and train your block. Or you can hit him with your sword and train one-armed combat. And the best part is that this is one of those immortal NPCs because they are key parts of the story. So you can fight him forever, essentially, and really raise those stats of yours in the early goings in the game. You can become level 3 or 4 within half an hour from the start of the campaign. And I'm pretty sure everybody must have noticed this by now, but Yes, it's a strategy you can do, but it's a risky one because this guy is much stronger than you are at this stage. So you have to play it smart. And as you can see, I'm playing with my... I'm fighting him with my bare claws. So I have to get real close to him, and I only have one piece of armor on me, which is the helmet, and I'm almost dead. So I took the liberty of speeding the process up a little bit. That is...
So, did you discard this tactic on your own, or did you find it out later?
I just found it out on my own. I just said to myself, hey, why not to fight this guy for easy experience points right off the bat? Well, and then I did. And then my adventure began. This is how my adventure starts.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I could do that even if I knew even if it was my second playthrough.
The best thing you could do is to have a restoration spell on one hand and the weapon on the other hand. That way you can heal yourself as you get wounded and train your very helpful restoration magic in the process.
Well,
such as the way I'm doing.
Well, I was more referring to the point that even though I think that the choices you make in video games don't define you as a person, it just feels wrong to attack someone who wasn't even a threat to begin
Oh,
with.
it's okay. It's an Imperial. So, as you can see, I have sped things up. Skyrim around at the speed of sound. Got places to be, gotta train those skills. Okay, we are back to regular speed now.
Okay, so Alvar has already forgiven you. Okay,
No, no. That's not how it works, you see. Advar is programmed to follow the main path to Riverwood, which means he's going to chase you forever. He's not going to stop. Now that you've angered him, he's never going to stop coming for you unless you do one very specific thing. So this tactic, like I said, might backfire on you because it might just break the game earlier on.
Yeah,
Anyway.
I was wondering how you're going to do the quest now that Alvar is angry at you.
It's very simple. It's very simple, actually. So anyway, as you can see, I found a power stone, and I add the blessing that allows me to train my magic much faster, which is great because I'm going to depend a lot on restoration for this particular build. I really have to get up close and personal to my enemies with my bare claws. Which, as I remind you, they do a base damage of 12, which makes them a lot more powerful than all the starting weapons at this stage.
Yeah, in my playthrough I also had a cut sheet, but I used both kind of a melee magic kind of an amalgamation build.
It's great, it's very useful to train in restoration magic if you're going for a melee build, because potions are limited, but magicka isn't.
Yeah, kind of a magic knight.
Yes, magic knight. I was a magic knight in my other playthrough with my favorite character, Sand the Argonian, which is currently level 67, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah, well, poor fighter.
Okay, so you can see just how easily I'm taking down enemies. The first enemies. With my bare claws.
Yeah. And I see that you're using first person even on battles. So I felt that I needed the third person view so I could properly define my play.
He's back! Here we go again! Skyrim around at the speed of sound. Got places to be, gotta follow my rainbow. Please stop chasing me, you brute angry man. I don't want to die, I have my life ahead of me. Just stop chasing me around. I have better things to do. I have a quest to go through, 'cause I'm the chosen of this adventure. Don't chase me, set me free. If you stop chasing me, you will let me leave. That would be nice of you, Hadvar. Set me free. Okay.
Yeah. In games like Baldur's Gate, you could kill and plot in for one character, but then the game would end. And
yes, well, that's not a thing that can happen in Elder Scrolls ever since Oblivion anymore. So now you can take advantage of that to have eternal sparring partners to train your skills.
Yeah.
And oh boy, I definitely took advantage of that. Okay, so here's the problem, right? He was meant to come here in Riverwood. He sees me, he hunts me down, and also the people in Riverwood decide to attack me because of that. Because he's a villager in Riverwood. And that means I, well, accidentally kill off the blacksmith. So he cannot train me in smithing because of that. But it's okay, because there is another blacksmith in Riften on the way to my quest, which I will reveal what that quest entails. And also, if you feel like you have skipped the tutorial about smithing, don't worry, that woman, that Avenici woman in Whiterun, the settlement further down the way, will give you the same identical quest to learn the basics of smithing. So restoration increased to 22. I believe I'm on level 3 already. Which is impressive for, you know, the beginning of the game.
Yeah, I guess the game makers of this game assume that the players are more interested about the story than they actually are.
Pardon me, I had something in my throat.
Yeah.
So you might be wondering. Yes.
Yeah, I guess it was one of the main reasons why Fallout 76 failed, because they assumed that the players would create all their adventures together, but then it turns out that all the players just wanted to have a video game toolbox that would just troll each other and stuff.
Yes, but that's the great thing about Skyrim in particular. It's a veritable sandbox for your unrestrained, consequence-free debauchery. And on that note, it is extremely easy to get away with both stealing and murder in this game, as you will soon see with your own 2 eyes. Ooh, light! Let me catch the light. I'm gonna catch the light. I'm gonna catch the light. Gonna catch the light.
Yeah, I don't usually play video games that way because I just want to immerse myself into the...
I try to do that, but if there is nothing really interesting for me to immerse myself with, then I go for the debauchery angle, and I just want to have fun playing a video game. Everybody has their own way to play this game, and every way they choose to do, is valid. Yes.
Yeah.
Anyway, so how am I going to get off this predicament? I've been chased around by a maniac, and the entire plot-relevant village of Riverwood is against me. There is only one way you can get off this rock and hard place. You have to get yourself arrested. Yes, it's simple as that. Get yourself arrested. It's again a 1,000 gold bounty has been added on my head when I killed the blacksmith. So the first guard I meet, I'm going to let myself get turned in. And that will be the end of all my issues with Advar, because none of these dumb NPCs have memory retention.
I think I'm kind of glad that we didn't do my playthrough attempt with your instructions, because I would probably die several times while attempting to do the tricks you're doing here.
Yes, in retrospect, that might have been the case. And you didn't notice, but I died 3 times, actually, because I sped the whole thing up. But yes, I did die a bunch of times. So I know what I'm doing, but you can still die, and I am doing it in the hardest way possible, because I only have 1 helmet when it comes to armor, and I am punching everything, so I don't have a shield or a weapon. And as you can see, I've trained my armor a bit with these lovely pups. Right, so the only downside of doing a full-on sentence in jail is that it might reset some of your skills that you've been training thus far. Not reset levels, reset the experience up to a level. So I'm going to lose all that restoration XP that you see there. And all of that. Which, it's not a big loss for the early goings, the early stages of this game. Oh, there is a guard. Perfect. Save me, Mr. Guard. I've been chased by a maniac! So when a guard is attacking you, it's wise to sheath your weapons, and they might just decide to arrest you instead. So when you are in jail, you can choose to either try to escape and be a fugitive for the rest of your days, or to, you know, pay the price of the full sentence. I decided it's a few days. I don't know how much, but it's enough to reset your experience points. So I decided to meet this game halfway. I'm going to try. I did try to escape a few times and train my lockpicking ability. I ended up sneaking around in the guard barracks as all the guards were asleep, stealing their stuff, and improving my sneak in the process. But then, just as I was about to leave the place, what happens? The guards wake up all at once. It was daylight at that point. Also, as much as I know things about this game, it still surprises me from time to time. There are still some things that I discover on the spot. For example, I never realized that there was a grate on the floor of this jail that was much easier to open than this jail gate over here. Well, that's how I escaped all those times. And I'm telling you this because those portions of the playthrough are not recorded. Let's just say those are the parts of this playthrough that I worked on off screen. And there is a reason for that, as you will understand next time for the second installment of Alicia, the Punchcat.
Oh, it's all over already?
The first part is over, yes, but the second part begins after this. Well, more specifically after some off-screen grinding. You will see why.
Okay.
So thanks for joining us, everybody. This has been the introductory tutorial level to our playthrough, well, my playthrough with added commentary, of The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. We definitely did a lot of Skyrim around, didn't we? Alright, so again, thanks for joining us, and we will see you next time for the part in which I shall reveal what my quest actually is for this game, because
Yeah,
yes,
I was about to ask that.
yes, I have a few interesting goals to achieve, a few very interesting goals to achieve for this particular experience, and I hope you will join me again for the magic as it unfolds before your very eyes. Good night, everybody. Wow.
Good night.